The Battle of Isandlwana, the untold clash of empires. Step back to 1879, where the plains of southern Africa set the stage for one of the most devastating defeats in British military history, the Battle of Isandlwana. This fateful confrontation would shake the foundations of the British Empire and spotlight the military brilliance of the Zulu kingdom. More than a battle, it became a story of resilience, miscalculations, and the high-stakes clash of two vastly different worlds. By the late 19th century, the British Empire was expanding aggressively across southern Africa, driven by strategic interests, economic greed, and a belief in racial supremacy cloaked under the guise of civilizing missions. At the heart of their expansion lay the proud and independent Zulu kingdom, led by King Cetshwayo, a leader equally determined to preserve his people's sovereignty. The Anglo-Zulu War was not a battle of equals. It was a confrontation between a modern industrialized empire armed with advanced rifles and artillery and a society equipped primarily with spears, shields, and tactics rooted in centuries of tradition. Yet in their arrogance, British officials underestimated the military organization and determination of the Zulu people. In December 1878, a British ultimatum was sent to King Cetshwayo, demanding that the Zulu kingdom dismantle its military system and submit to colonial rule. Cetshwayo's refusal made war inevitable, and British forces, under the leadership of Lord Chelmsford, were mobilized. What followed at Isandlwana showed the folly of underestimating an indigenous resistance fueled by unity and purpose. On January 11th, 1879, Lord Chelmsford led a British invasion column across the Buffalo River and into Zulu lands. The British forces were equipped with precision weaponry, Martini Henry rifles, field artillery, and vast logistical support. The officers, entrenched in Victorian-era military doctrines, were confident they would crush the disorganized Zulu warriors within weeks. The Zulu kingdom, on the other hand, was far from disorganized. Under King Cetshwayo's leadership, the Zulu military adhered to strict discipline, honed through years of training in the kingdom's Ibutho regimental system. Their famed Horns of the Bull battle formation was a tactical masterpiece, enveloping the enemy from all sides with precision and speed. Though armed largely with spears and shields, the Zulus demonstrated remarkable resourcefulness, adapting their strategies to counteract British firearms. Isandlwana itself was an isolated hill surrounded by open plains, a seemingly safe campsite chosen by the British. However, it offered minimal defensive potential, and its position left the British vulnerable to ambush. Unbeknownst to Lord Chelmsford, his decision to divide the forces created the perfect opportunity for the Zulu army to strike. As the invading British army moved deeper into Zulu territory, trouble brewed. Chelmsford was unaware that nearly 20,000 Zulu warriors, divided into several impias, regiments, were gathering in secret. Employing expert reconnaissance and deception, the Zulus concealed their movements, observing the British while avoiding detection. On January 21st, Chelmsford decided to split his column, taking a portion of the troops on a scouting mission to locate the Zulu main force. The remaining contingent, numbering approximately 1,800 soldiers, was left at Isandlwana under the command of Colonel Henry Pauline. This fatal decision left the British camp stretched thin, with little in the way of fortified defences. Overconfidence plagued the British commanders. They dismissed signs of Zulu activity in the region, convinced that their technological superiority would carry the day. Tragically, they could not have been more wrong. At dawn on January 22, 1879, Zulu warriors began to move in, undetected by the British. Under the cover of hills and terrain, they executed their plan with remarkable precision. By mid-morning, scouts reported Zulu forces massing in overwhelming numbers, a fact initially dismissed as improbable by camp command. When the Zulu army finally revealed itself, it was too late for the British to mount an effective response. Over 20,000 warriors surged forward in the iconic Horns of the Bull formation. The center, or chest, engaged the British head-on, while the flanks, the horns, encircled the camp to deliver a devastating pincer attack. The rear guard, or loins, maintained support and reserves. The battle erupted into an intense and chaotic fight. British soldiers formed firing lines, their Martini Henry rifles unleashing rapid volleys into the advancing Zulus. Despite sustaining heavy casualties, the Zulu ranks pushed forward relentlessly, using the natural landscape for cover and utilizing their shields to deflect incoming fire. The courage and tenacity of the Zulu warriors were unmatched. As ammunition began to run low due to poor logistics and disorganization, the British defensive position faltered. The flanking Zulu horns crashed into the camp, overwhelming the perimeter. The British forces, now encircled, descended into panic and disarray. Hand-to-hand combat ensued, with the Zulus wielding traditional spears, assegais, and shields in close quarters, where their training excelled. Colonel Pauline and his officers stood their ground, but were no match for the sheer numbers and ferocity of the Zulu force. By midday, the British camp at Isandlwana was overrun. Out of the 1,800 British soldiers, only a handful managed to escape across the Buffalo River to safety. The Zulu victory at Isandlwana was absolute. Over 1,300 British soldiers lay dead, while the Zulus suffered significant casualties as well, estimated at around 1,000. Yet, the battle was a stunning display of tactical brilliance and determination by an indigenous force standing against the might of an empire. The news of the disaster at Isandlwana spread rapidly, sending shockwaves through Britain and its colonies. The British public, long accustomed to tales of imperial triumph, was shocked by the defeat. How could a modern army be vanquished by a society armed with spears and shields? The humiliation was compounded by the realization that British tactical arrogance and logistical failures had sealed their fate. For the Zulu kingdom, Isandlwana was both a victory and a warning. The British response to the defeat was brutal and uncompromising. Determined to avenge their losses and restore imperial prestige, Britain launched a massive counter-offensive. The Zulu warriors, though celebrated for their courage, would face an opponent more determined and ruthless than before. Despite subsequent British victories in the war, the memory of Isandlwana could never be erased. It was a reminder that even the world's most powerful empire could falter when faced with a united resistance fortified by strategy and spirit. The Battle of Isandlwana stands as one of the most significant episodes in the history of colonial resistance. For the Zulu, it was a triumph of ingenuity and unity against an industrial colossus. Their ability to coordinate and execute such a decisive victory remains a testament to the strength of indigenous military knowledge and strategy. For historians, Isandlwana provides a poignant lesson in the perils of underestimation and the consequences of imperial arrogance. The British, armed with advanced weapons, assumed their technological superiority would guarantee success, ignoring the adaptive strategies and resilience of their adversaries. The battle has since become a symbol of defiance against colonial oppression. It is a reminder of the broader human cost of imperial expansion and the resilience of peoples determined to resist it. Though the British Empire ultimately triumphed in the Anglo-Zulu War, the Zulu victory at Isandlwana remains a powerful and enduring example of resistance against overwhelming odds. As we look back on the Battle of Isandlwana, we are reminded that history is more than a record of events. It is a tapestry of human ambition, struggle, and spirit. The events of January 22, 1879, tell us not only of a battle lost by one side and won by another, but also of the human stories that shaped the outcome. The Zulu warriors who faced British rifles with shields and assegais were not merely fighting for land or power, they were fighting to preserve their way of life, their sovereignty, and their identity. Similarly, the British soldiers, far from their homeland, found themselves caught in a conflict driven by forces beyond their control. For history enthusiasts, Isandlwana offers a lens through which to examine the complexities of imperialism, resistance, and the enduring impact of these struggles. It is more than just a tale of conflict. It is a story of human resilience, strategy, and the unpredictable tides of history. Witnessing this pivotal moment in time allows us to appreciate the courage and resolve that defined the age. Through the stories of those who fought and fell, the Battle of Isandlwana remains a moment of profound significance in the annals of history, a clash of empires and ideals that echoes through time.